Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 188th episode. Always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly makes it all worthwhile. Please continue to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And also remember that all of our episodes stream 24/7 on your home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide. And of course, you can always find us directly on our YouTube channel at Zen Sams. In the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're honored to have with us a remarkable young man whose talent has made waves in the fashion industry, Max Alexander. 8.5-year-old little Max already shattered records, becoming the Guinness World Record holder for the youngest runway fashion designer in history. He has over 3.5 million followers on social media. He's going to join me tonight, and we're going to dive into his journey, his motivations, and what the future holds for him. In the Phoenix Rising Express segment brought to you by Chicago's Chicken Shack nonprofit, contributor Anna Devere shares the transformational journey of Chicago's Chicken Shack founder, Lady Dame Dr. Shatira, and how she is giving back to her community. In the Polished Beauty segment, contributor Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and obstetrician, is joined by Dr. Carl Truesdale. He's a double board certified facial plastic surgeon based in Beverly Hills. Today, we're diving into the world of beauty, confidence, and that fine line between enhancement and obsession. In our Expert on the Microphone series in the Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2Lift, tonight we're featuring, in honor of this past Breast Cancer Awareness Month, board-certified gynecologist Dr. Shyrlena, Bogard, and breast cancer survivor Rebecca Ewing Fisher. They're both passionate about empowering women to optimize their well-being and lead healthy lifestyles. They're going to join me today to discuss Rebecca's cancer journey, the long road to recovery, and improving female sexual health with CO2Lift V, again, at the heart of it all. Stay tuned for the amazing 8.5-year-old fashion designer, Max Alexander, up next in the Hydration with Heart segment. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome to the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, where we highlight inspiring stories of innovation, passion, and dedication. Today, we're honored to have with us a remarkable young man whose talent has made waves in the fashion industry, Max Alexander. At just 8.5 years old, he's already shattered records, becoming the Guinness World Record holder for the youngest runway fashion designer in history. With over 3.3 million followers on social media, guided by his mom, Sherry Madison, Max is not just a rising star. He's redefining what it really means to be a fashion prodigy. We're going to dive into his journey, motivations, and what the future holds for him. Max, it's a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Welcome.
So excited to be chatting with you. So let's start about breaking into fashion at age 4 years old. So your journey began at the incredibly young age of just 4. Wow. While most kids are learning their ABCs, you were already sketching and sewing. Can you take us back to that moment when you realized fashion was more than just a hobby for you? And what was it that sparked that creative fire so early?
So fashion really wasn't a hobby for me. One time I just really woke up and I said, I'm a fashion designer. I need a mannequin. Like, I was serious. I wasn't like goofing around. I started doing amazing things. My mom was
Your mom guided you the whole way through. Now, you're officially the youngest runway fashion designer in history, which is a Guinness World Record. That's huge. Did you ever imagine as a little boy sewing away that you'd achieve something like this?
Well, kind of, but not really. I never actually really knew that was going to be a thing, but now it is, and I'm very happy and grateful for myself.
So you have over 3.5 million followers, and your fashion journey is followed closely by fans all over the world. But we know your mom, Sherry Madison, the cardboard queen herself, she manages your social media. What's it like having your mom as your social media manager? And how does she help you really navigate this digital world while you stay focused on your designs?
Well, I don't really get it. I don't even know how to make a single video. And in our family, we don't have iPhones until we're 18. So yeah, basically, yeah. I have no idea I don't know how to even do it.
Well, you know what? You just said so much in that little answer. The fact that you don't even have any kind of social media access or you don't have an iPhone speaks volumes to your mom's proper choices to keep your creativity and your focus exactly on your designs, not on that phone, because most kids your age are plugged in to the screen and they can't focus on anything else. I think we just uncovered the true reason on why you are so focused with your designs. Good job, mama. Now, let's chat motivation and support because your mom is really at the heart of it all. And you are so creative at what you do and you follow her guidance. I watch you. A career in fashion, especially at such a young age, can be a lot of pressure, Max. What keeps you motivated when things get tough? Is there a specific person or an experience that you look to for inspiration when you're feeling overwhelmed?
So I'm really nothing is really tough for me except I was trying to do just pure thread art. This used to be a butterfly, but it's not.
You're so cute. Now, what's your favorite thing to design?
My favorite thing to design, well, I am right now making a food line. It
Ooh.
sounds really fun already, but I have already made a few dresses that were like super duper fun to make.
So you love dresses, right? Now, the fashion world is increasingly focusing on sustainability, right? And many designers are starting young with a conscious approach, just like you. How does sustainability influence your work? Have you thought about how your designs can make a positive impact on the environment?
Well, totally. Yeah, so there's this thing called the FICFF. It's like a small fashion charity at the UN. And I was in it and I became an ambassador.
Of course you did.
And there's stuff called fast fashion, which is like there's a sea of clothes in the capital of Ghana. It's just clothes. Barely any water. It's just like, if this was a mile tall, it would be like that.
Wow, that's inspiring. You definitely have a great vision, and I love that you are thinking about sustainability already from a young age. And being an ambassador, that's a big responsibility, especially when the United Nations is involved. So you're clearly on the right path. Now, as a young designer, how have you turned your age into an advantage in the fashion industry?
Social media is doing most of the work of everyone seeing me. I do a lot of crazy stuff. Candy dress, real candy. Candy, so it was like candy bags and then real candy over that candy bag. Candy bag.
Oh my goodness, that sounds delicious. Let's talk about your career highlights. So you've accomplished so much at such a young age, whether it's walking the runway with your designs or connecting with top fashion figures. What's been the biggest highlight of your career so far?
Really the candy dress.
The candy dress?
Yeah.
Did you meet somebody throughout your journey that you were in awe of?
Isaac Mizrahi. We went to the Metropolitan Art Museum.
Who's your next wish list of somebody that you could meet in the fashion industry?
Well, if you're talking about who I'm probably going to make a dress for, it's Ariana Grande.
No way.
Yeah.
That's your dream.
You are kidding me.
That's his dream. That's his dream.
Hey.
Well, he's manifesting, Mom. He's manifesting.
I think it's 50-50 there, yeah.
I think it's going to happen. Ariana Grande, big shout out to Ariana Grande. Max is going to make you that dress made out of candy, perhaps. Okay, now looking to the future. You've already made such a mark on the industry, but we know you're just getting started. What are your future goals, both like short term and long term? Is there any like dream collaborations or projects on the horizon that you're particularly excited about?
Well, the food line, because you know what? I made a candy dress. That doesn't mean I can't make a candy suit. Also, I'm making a tie dress. So what I did, I opened up the tie. I took out the stuff inside and I opened it up, and now it's like 3 times the size.
Very creative. And now you're going to make a dress out of ties?
Exactly.
I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. Now, tell me about the vest. You have a signature look. It's your vest. And now, apparently, I just found out that on maxalexander.shop, you are selling your vest. Can you tell me about that?
And there goes the secret. It has black wings on the back. It has fluffy fur. It has cheetah on the inside. And it has antique weird buttons on the front that I like.
And what size does it go up to?
Extra, extra large.
Max, is there anything else that you want to tell the world?
I'm size inclusive. And if your kids that are doing something and you just can't do it, here's a poem. A very short poem that's 3 words. Practice makes perfect.
You are so spot on. Max, it's been such a pleasure hearing about your journey and your passion and your hard work and humility. It's all truly inspiring at such a young age. And for our listeners, I want them to follow Max Alexander's incredible work on social media. So I'm going to shout out your social media handle. But I want to thank you for coming on and being so transparent and so fun. Definitely follow Max Alexander's incredible work on social media. And remember, his story proves that no matter how young or old you are, chasing your dreams is always within reach. Special thanks to Once Upon a Coconut for keeping us hydrated today. And until next time, this is Zen Sam signing off for Hydration with Heart segment right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Definitely head to the gram and check out Max at couture.2.the.max. And you can head directly to his website at maxalexander.shop. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
In business and in life, there's always an upside. Finding it is often the challenge. Having a mindset that looks for it and embraces problems as opportunities is the key to thriving. Finding the Upside with Maria de Lorenzo Reyes explores the transformative power of optimism, featuring visionary business owners, influential leaders, and inspiring everyday people. Tune in and see how they navigate changing conditions with optimism and innovation. Watch the special series One Tough Chick, highlighting resilient and powerful women, streaming on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back to this week's Express segment of Phoenix Rising, brought to you by Chicago's Chicken Shack on A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm Anna Devere, and today we're talking about frequency and vibration. Nikola Tesla said that if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Dame Dr. Shatira of Chicago, Illinois, has always had the awareness that life is energy. Her formative years began with what she describes as a rocky foundation, but one thing that threads through everything she does, from entrepreneur to award-winning womanitarian, is the self-awareness that we are not our circumstances. She's quick to note that every human story has its peaks and valleys, and what she remembers most from her early years were the strangers that would greet her with hello. As she says, this is a choice, and the acknowledgement from others filled her with gratitude and gifted her with a growing sense of self that today empowers her to lift others beyond what they can even see in themselves. This is a pay-it-forward attitude with enormous impact. Dame Dr. Shatira still wraps herself with a humble attitude as she expresses the truth that simple human kindness and acknowledgement creates a vibration in action that multiplies out in an echo of miracles. It was in that spirit that she founded the very first restaurant, Chicago's Chicken Shack, in none other than Tempe, Arizona. It may sound strange, but the origins of this were an act of service to her stepson. When he was in his fourth year of college at the University of Arizona in Tucson, this young man called his parents and asked if he could quit school and move back to Chicago. Dr. Shatira had raised this young man since his toddler years, and she wisely told him to stay put in Arizona. But her compassion also kicked in, and she built him a restaurant to run on University Drive. And the success belonged to everyone as a new entrepreneur was born. Dr. Shatira has always built purposefully, and the love from her restaurant patrons is a reflection of the world-class attention she puts into the foundational teams that now franchise each Chicago's Chicken Shack. Oddly enough, her own hometown of Chicago, Illinois, was not on her radar at first. Chicago is a foodie town, as she says, and this very discerning palate makes it hard to be successful in that environment. But not only is she successful there for her excellent family-style take on chicken, she's just received a prestigious international award. Only 3% of female franchisors in this country are African American, and only 20% exist globally. That's what makes the Female Franchisee of the Year award truly special. It was presented this month to Dame Dr. Shatira from the Women of Heart Foundation in London. And to her, it's like receiving an Oscar for being a womanitarian. What is a womanitarian, you ask? Dr. Shatira personifies this word, as Chicago Chicken Shack is not only a world-class business, she also feeds 300 to 500 families a month for free. Those incredible seasonings and sauces are part of her magic, but it's her vibrational frequency that feeds the homeless and needy as if they are extended family. In her words, this awareness of doing God's work is a gift to her as well. That is part of who she is and who she has always been since she received the grace of a stranger's hello as a little girl. For more on the empowerment story that is catching fire in the hearts and minds of the world, visit chicagoschickenShack.com. You can make a donation to her incredible cause and daydream how to plan your next foodie adventure. From iHeart to Your Heart, this express segment of Phoenix Rising was brought to you by Chicago's Chicken Shack. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Do you have the dream of starting and owning your own business, or know of someone who does? If so, check out Your Home Business program, where they inspire, equip, and encourage those who dream of owning and operating their own business. Check out Your Home Business on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome to another Polished Beauty segment in the Expert on the Microphone series. Joining me today is my brilliant segment host, Dr. Daisy Ayim. She's a triple board-certified cosmetic surgeon and highly respected obstetrician and gynecologist. She's also the host and creator of the Polished Beauty Podcast. Today, we're diving deep into the world of beauty, confidence, and the fine line between enhancement and obsession. Joining us, we have a special guest who is no stranger to the world of beauty and transformation, Dr. Carl Truesdale. He's a double board certified facial plastic surgeon based in Beverly Hills. And since opening his practice back in 2021, Dr. Truesdale has made waves in the cosmetic world with his expertise ranging from facial rejuvenation to corrective surgeries. He's helped countless people recover not just their looks, but their confidence after botched procedures. And he's even opened his own hair restoration clinic, Crown Hair Institute. He's a true visionary, running his own production company and reality YouTube series on top of all else, Beyond the Surface, Beverly Hills.
Dr. Truesdale is also the founder of Truesdale Foundation, which provides life-changing corrective surgeries for those who may not be able to afford them, including military veterans, domestic abuse survivors, and victims of bullying. So much to unpack today. Let's dive in.
Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Dr. Carl Truesdale. Welcome, superstar.
Thank you for that kind introduction.
You deserve it.
All right, let's kick off with a topic that's on everyone's mind, botched cosmetic surgeries. It's something that can truly devastate both mentally and physically. In 2022 alone, corrective procedures skyrocketed with an estimated 30% of patients seeking revision surgeries. And we know that this can lead to a loss of confidence and a lot of trauma. So Dr. Truesdale, can you walk us through the process of how you approach facial reconstruction after a botched procedure? And what does it take to rebuild not just someone's face, but their confidence?
Whenever we do anything with the face or cosmetic or plastic surgery, there's never a guarantee of a result. But sometimes the result can be actually a bad one, so unacceptable. And that's what we mean by botched. So whether that's a facelift that's pulled a little too tight, or maybe it looks irregular, or the ear is pulling, or the eyelid can't close anymore, or the scar is unsightly, or maybe the hairline is too low, or maybe someone lost hair, a facial nerve injury. I've seen all of these things. And so the way I approach it is the first thing I ask the patient, what's going on, how they got there, and really just try to get to the emotional part of, what they're going through, because it's usually both emotional, taxing, as well as the physical. Then I look at the problem, the form, and all the techniques available to me to try to give them back their form and their function.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, if you can give us an in-depth insight into the technical challenges of reconstructing a face that has already gone multiple surgeries, because I think a lot of patients don't understand that, the technical difficulty of this. So if you can just elaborate on it for us.
The face, there's no mask, there's no bra, there's no shirt if you don't like it. So one, the attention is higher, the stakes are higher. But two, there's scar tissue. So the anatomy has already been altered. The things where you were born, where we might find that nerve or that muscle or that, that fascia is now different. On top of that, a lot of times when I'm doing revision surgery, they've taken things out, maybe they've put things in that shouldn't be there. And I have to work delicately around those structures while preserving the arteries, the nerves, and not maim someone. So it can be very, very challenging. You're also dealing with a patient who's been through an unfavorable outcome. And so you have to treat them with a little bit more, delicate nature and, a little bit more of a gloved hand approach.
There's no denying that when you look at the overview, Hollywood has a massive influence on global beauty. And I think it all starts there. When you look at these recent surveys, they show that over 60% of millennials consider a cosmetic tweak based on celebrity trends. What are some of the trending facial procedures that patients are requesting based on what celebrities are having done? And do you think these trends are setting healthy beauty standards, or are they pushing an unattainable ideal?
I think some are good and some are bad. And, my approach to plastic surgery is one that's natural. So if you look at my work on Instagram or even my YouTube show, you'll see that I'm trying to enhance their natural beauty, their natural features, while keeping them looking like themselves, just better versions. But a lot of times we're seeing examples where that is not the case. I don't think that those examples are good. I think overall, though, the society is kind of moving towards that more natural, nuanced approach. So we're seeing less of the big overfilled lips. We're seeing less of the unnatural looking plastic surgery, where we're looking at people who are enhancing their form. So we're turning away from a little bit, over excess of the fillers, more towards the fat transfer, which can have a little bit more of a natural appearance, a little bit more away from kind of the more like the threads, and more towards the biostimulatory injections or exosomes, which are, nanovesicles, which stimulate collagen growth and improvement in skin quality. So we're trying to get the most out of what the patient is bringing in before we start jumping into things that can radically change the way that they look.
And you mentioned threads. Do threads influence the outcome of a facelift, and do they complicate the outcome?
Do they influence? Yes, they influence it because they're leaving. So threads leave behind like a scar underneath the skin. And I'm very commonly seeing this and have to navigate around that. If you don't have an expert surgeon doing your surgery, you, in my opinion, are more likely to get lost or even injure something. Because when the thread is kind of, goes away or kind of leaves behind this thread of scar, when you're navigating it, the tissue planes become a little bit more fused. And when I'm operating in the face, there are little nerves that control the muscle. If those nerves are cut, the face is paralyzed. So it's high stakes here, right? And so you don't want anything else in there that makes it harder to do the surgery. Why I tell my patients before surgery, dissolve your filler, let's get a blank canvas so that I can do my magic.
So what's your take on the trend of younger patients seeking minimally invasive cosmetic procedures? And do you think it's creating unrealistic expectations for natural aging?
We've never wanted to look old. And so some of the techniques, both surgical and minimally invasive today, can make people who otherwise would look much older look younger. And that has an effect on their confidence, the way they interact in society, the way that people perceive them. So I don't like to make judgment calls. In fact, I did a facelift on a 33-year-old yesterday. She looks fantastic. But each face deserves its own special care. So I very commonly turn people away if their expectation is not a realistic one, or if their face or the surgery or the procedure doesn't justify being done. And so that's where the judgment of the provider and the patient really have to come together to make the best decision.
In some cases, let's say a filler, how low would you go? If a teenager comes and says, I just need a filler to fix my nose. I'm just curious.
Right. I usually encourage, so anyone who's less than 18 obviously needs parental consent. And so I don't even talk to them. The one patient, I can think of an example, who came to me, she was 17 years old. She came in with her mother and wanted some filler. And I basically talked them out of it. I basically talked to her and said, listen, you're beautiful. You really don't need this. You can live, the thing that you want. One, I don't think I can achieve it with the filler. And two, it might not be the best option. Now, that being said, a really good time of doing rhinoplasty is before kids, go off to college. So that 17, 18 range. So it's very, very nuanced. There's not like a cookie cutter answer to that.
Now, one of the things I find fascinating is the psychology behind why people pursue surgery after surgery. In some extreme cases, we hear about people who've undergone over 50 procedures in the pursuit of perfection. How do you counsel patients who might be falling into this trap of overcorrecting or chasing an unrealistic goal?
I really listen. So as doctors, the most important thing we can do is listen, because very often the patient diagnoses their own problem. And so there might be something else going on. And if that's the case, and if I can't solve it, right, maybe we need to talk to a therapist or some counseling, or maybe there's something else going on in their life where that might get them closer to their goal of happiness. I tell every patient, I want safe, beautiful, natural, and happy every single time.
So what drew you into the field of hair restoration, and why is it such an integral part of your practice?
I think of the face as my canvas, right? And the hair in a lot of ways is the frame of the canvas. So what's a beautiful Mona Lisa without a beautiful frame? So one, I wanted to be complete in my options giving to patients, but two, in terms of hair loss, there was a gap that I saw for people of color, for curly hair. A lot of hair transplant surgeons don't want to do curly hair because it's more challenging. And so I thought that there was an opportunity to, one, treat, patients of color, but also increase my armamentarium that I have to offer to patients.
That's fascinating that you put the two together, because I do see how it goes hand in glove, the face and the hair. Now let's talk about something a bit more personal. You recently performed a facelift on your own mother and even shared it on social media. And I'm sure that decision came with a lot of emotions. What motivated you to operate on a family member, and what were the risks involved in taking on such a personal case?
Right. My mom motivated me. So,
Go mom.
she's been asking. For me, after doing a deep dive, we did a couple of things. One, I wanted to make sure that I treated my mom the same way I would treat every single patient as much as I can, right? So the things that I did is, one, I wanted to start off with doing her eyelids and her lip lift to make sure that, during surgery, on very low risk, low stakes, right? Relatively low stakes, I would be able to get through the surgery and it be, basically myself. And I was, and her outcome was amazing. So then once we felt good about that, I basically said, okay, let's go ahead and proceed with surgery. We gave her every single kind of workup that a normal patient would have. And I tell patients now, the only difference between her surgery and what I would do for another person is that she recovered in my back house. That's the only difference. And so for me, I do a lot of facelifts, and that's what I'm known for. In my mind, there are very few people who can do facelifts as naturally, as beautifully as I do. And there's no one who does as many Black women as me. And so for me, it was an easier choice because, for me to give her to someone else, I don't know who I would give her to. And that might be ego, but also I wanted to kind of give this and share this gift with my mom and restore her. And so it's been a great process. She looks younger than I do. It's been a lot of fun. People all over the world get to share along with my mom's amazing, beautiful personality.
Well, I think you did a beautiful work. She looks incredible.
Thank
So, Mom, you look amazing.
I echo that sentiment. She looks fantastic. She is queen officially.
Yes.
Thank you.
So my next question, how do you recognize the line between a healthy enhancement and when someone might be developing an unhealthy fixation on cosmetic surgery?
I look at their anatomy and I look at their face, and I always am thinking, what can I get out of this face, and is it worth doing it, right? So I, as an expert, I've dedicated my whole life to looking at normal anatomy, normal function. If someone wants something that is not on a human's face, right, then it's not something that I will do for them. Therefore, there are certain procedures that I just don't perform. I always go back to the natural. And so if they're wanting something that is not natural, or the risk or the potential risk outweighs the potential benefit, or if I don't think that I can satisfy their expectation, I just won't do it. This is different than other types of medicine where you go to a cardiologist, they can't deny you, right? They're going to treat your heart attack. With cosmetic plastic surgery, it's a give and take. It's a relationship between the surgeon and the patient.
Yes, there's one question I ask all my guests because the tagline is where ambition meets empowerment. So the question for you is, what is the one bold step you have taken in your career or your life that truly embodies your ambition and empowered you to get where you are today?
For me, the big step was opening a practice on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills with no previous experience not going up against, but in one of the most competitive markets in the world, right? So at the time I was, 32 years old, and basically putting myself out there like, hey, I'm good, but trust me, come to me and trust your face with me. And so there's a lot of risk with that, but I took that bet on myself, and now thankfully I'm blessed and humbled, but my practice has grown and I've been able to help and transform, thousands of patients' lives.
Love it. Congratulations.
What an incredible conversation. Dr. Truesdale, thank you for sharing your expertise and more importantly, giving us a glimpse into the world of facial reconstruction and beauty trends and what it really means to truly help people regain their confidence. And thank you to our listeners. And more importantly, I always say this, beauty is more than skin deep. And while aesthetic enhancements can be life-changing, it's always about finding that healthy balance. It's always about the balance. Now, for more on Dr. Truesdale's work, definitely be sure to check out his YouTube series, Beyond the Surface, Beverly Hills, and follow him on his journey to redefine beauty one face at a time. Thank you so much, Dr. Truesdale.
Thank you, Dr. Truesdale.
Thank you.
Okay, you can check him out on the gram at Dr.Truesdale. And a big thank you to Dr. Daisy, our segment co-host. Thank you for tuning in to Expert on the Microphone and the Polished Beauty segment. Until next time, and stay polished. Definitely head to drdaisyayim.com or check her out on the gram at Dr. Daisy. And of course, polishedbeautypodcast.com or at Polished Beauty Podcast on the gram. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2Lift. CO2Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to CO2Lift.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift in our Expert on the Microphone series, we're featuring, of course, in honor of the past Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we're joined by board-certified gynecologist Dr. Shyrlena Bogard and breast cancer survivor Rebecca Ewing Fisher. Diagnosed in October of 2017 with stage 2 breast cancer, Rebecca has fought a courageous battle and has remarkably been in remission since 2018, demonstrating resilience both personally and professionally. With a holistic approach to health, Dr. Shyrlena specializes in addressing the complex challenges women face in areas such as sexual health, hormone imbalances, and weight management. They're both passionate about empowering women to optimize their well-being and lead wealthy lifestyles. Today, they're going to join me to discuss Rebecca's cancer journey, the long road to recovery, and improving female sexual health with CO2Lift V, of course, at the heart of it all. Welcoming now to the show, our superstars, Rebecca and Shyrlena. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You guys are in sync to begin with. Okay, Rebecca, I heard a very interesting story backstage on how the two of you met. Please do share.
Yes. Well, about 13 years ago, I had the privilege of connecting with Shyrlena on the stage of an NPC national level female bodybuilding competition. We were very excited to both win the classes that we were in, and we became fast friends.
Shyrlena, this is obviously a match made in heaven.
Yes, it was. The irony is, it's when we met, it was Rebecca actually beat me in the overall. So we both won our classes, but for our age competition, because we were both in the 40 and over at the time, she won the overall. And we were joking about the white girl had the booty because, as they say in the bodybuilding world, shows are won from the back. And so in order for her to beat me, that meant her backside had to be more impressive than mine. But no, we connected, and she was just such a beautiful soul, and just so, it was, you meet people along the way. There are genuine people, and then there are people that, okay, this is just for this experience, and I'll probably never see them again. Rebecca was one of those people that you just wanted to have in your corner as a friend when I met her.
It's so interesting how things come full circle. And when I said a match made in heaven, the audience will find out soon why. So let's dive right in. According to the National Cancer Institute, while the prevalence of a harmful BRCA gene mutation in the general population is just about 0.2 to 0.3%, more than 60% of women who inherit a mutation will develop breast cancer during their lifetime. Now, Rebecca, I know you were positive for a BRCA1 mutation, so you fall into this statistic. But let's go back to the beginning. Can you walk us through your initial breast cancer diagnosis? Did you previously know you were BRCA1 positive, or did you experience symptoms that made you realize something was wrong?
I had no idea about the BRCA positive aspect of things. I just found a lump randomly one morning or taking a shower, had it checked out, and did not know anything about BRCA until quite a bit into the process of becoming diagnosed and going through all the testing. And then my father actually had already been diagnosed at the same time. And that's when we kind of connected the dots to my grandmother who had passed 25 years earlier of breast cancer.
And what was your treatment like? I know you had over 15 chemotherapy treatments and several major surgeries, such as a double mastectomy, fat grafting, and a full hysterectomy. But after all of this and being declared in remission in 2018, how did it leave your body feeling, and what challenges did you or do you continue to face?
5 months of chemo. It was around 20 sessions of chemo. It was 6 weeks of radiation. And I actually had 7 surgeries with full hysterectomy and a full double mastectomy and fat transfers like you shared. It was devastating. Having been a national competitive athlete and then going through just basically the destruction of my physique was mind-blowing, because you just really realize how resilient you have to be to just be grateful for your life. I continued to just struggle with figuring out how I could get through all of these types of upheavals. Once I was through one, I just kept focusing on the next and then the next and the next. And honestly, the way I felt about my body is obviously very grateful that I had the strength from my training, from my fitness training, to be able to mentally and emotionally get through it all. I think that's probably the biggest thing that people don't know and don't understand, is that it's a very emotional journey. And so having the fortitude mentally to be able to say, you know what, I've gone through all the things to get my body prepared in this way. And I really honestly believe that I had worked so hard on my emotional empowerment personally, that this had taken me to another level to be able to fight this. And so, and of course, my father was going through his own journey, and I had a 2-year-old at home. So all of this was compounding on itself for me. My poor mother, I always think of her, but it was full of anxiety. My body felt very foreign. I did not have the same recognition of myself. I lost my physical beauty. And I just had to remain very conscious that I would recover and that I would be better than I ever was.
Wow. Okay. This is a lot to unpack, but you are a trailblazer and you're here and you have this new lease on life and this incredible shining attitude that is just paving the way for other women who are listening to you and looking up to you like a role model. So Dr. Shyrlena, throughout this entire ordeal, bring me up to speed, Dr. Shyrlena, on how you re-entered Rebecca's life.
At the time, I was launching a intimacy wellness clinic in Palm Springs, California. And so as a part of that, we had a lot of things that were on social media. And because Rebecca and I followed one another on social media, she knew my journey in launching the sexual wellness clinic. So she reached out to me one day, and this was before she had the hysterectomy. And one of the things she didn't share is that she was young in her marriage. And so she had this absolutely wonderful husband. And she said they had a 2-year-old. And so like many women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer and have done the brave thing of getting the treatments, one of the things that happens is you save your life, but then you lose everything that defines you. And one of those things sometimes, unfortunately, happens to be their intimate relationship with their partner. And oftentimes I've had women who've gone through the breast cancer journey who have said, if I had known I was going to lose my life through this journey, it wouldn't have been worth it to go through all of this, because of losing the most important relationship is their intimate connection to their partner. And so Rebecca had reached out to me before her hysterectomy and was telling me some of the things she was going on, how it was affecting her relationship. And I just said to her, I said, get through the hysterectomy and I'm going to help you get back to feeling good about yourself.
All right. Now I want to frame this next part, because this is the important part that I'm coming to full circle. So as an OB-GYN, right? You're an OB-GYN. I'm sure you've seen many women from all walks of life, not just Rebecca, including many cancer survivors.
Yes.
While beating breast cancer is, of course, a remarkable accomplishment, survivorship comes with its own set of challenges, like you just said. There's pain, there's fatigue, sexual dysfunction, right? Cognitive problems, cardiovascular issues, and so many other health issues due to the treatment. So looking at sexual dysfunction specifically, there's approximately 50% of breast cancer survivors that report some type of sexual difficulty, and 45% specifically report sexual pain. So I know you often recommend the CO2Lift V for breast cancer survivors facing these very challenges. Why do you recommend this product? And can you explain how it works and what the benefits are?
CO2Lift is an at-home product that patients can use. And what it does is it helps the body to naturally repair itself. By infusing carbon dioxide, the product actually helps the body to create its own oxygen. And oxygen is very important when it comes to tissue repair. Through this at-home modality, patients can treat themselves and maintain any treatments that they get in the office. And so oftentimes women who are, for whatever reason, be it for medical reasons or personal choice, who want to avoid hormone products, this is a non-hormonal product that will give them the benefits of what hormones sometimes can do. But I also like to say that this is also, I'm a holistic, I take a holistic approach. So I don't believe anything is all good or all bad. Each client is different. Each client has individual desires. And so we look at everything in our basket, and oftentimes the CO2Lift V becomes one of the products that we use. So for instance, with Rebecca, I believe, if I recall correctly, we did a laser procedure to help repair some of the tissue damage that occurred as a result of her treatments, but as a way to, one, help heal from the laser procedure, but also maintain the results of the laser procedure. The CO2Lift steps in because it helps to maintain the health of that tissue long term.
And now for women concerned about introducing new treatments during recovery, how do you address the safety and efficacy of CO2Lift V?
So it's a product that is safe for anyone. It's essentially side effect free. Because it induces the body to produce its own oxygen to repair and heal itself. We're not introducing foreign products into the body that can have toxic effects on the tissue. And so it's safe for anyone. I use it, as I said, in my moms who have just had babies, who are breastfeeding, moms who've had C-sections, and some of the things that they encounter. And so it's safe from anywhere from an 18-year-old client to a 90-year-old postmenopausal patient, but it's something that is safe for anyone to use.
Rebecca, I know Dr. Shyrlena recommended CO2Lift V. I'd love to hear your experience, firstly, with how your cancer treatment affected your marriage and sexual health, and then how CO2Lift V helped.
I remember calling Shyrlena up the next morning after having used it, and I said, girl, what is this stuff? This is amazing. This feels so good. And I felt so restored. First of all, restored emotionally with my husband. I was just, laser is one thing. It requires quite a bit of, it's more expensive. And then it has a lengthy series that you need to go through. And there's some recovery and downtime with the CO2Lift V. And at first I was thinking, why am I doing the V, this gel, alongside of something I paid so much money for? And knowing that the gel is $100 ish, depending on, how many per treatment, depending on how many treatments you're doing alongside of a series of lasers, excuse me. But in my case, I felt so soothed by the gel. I felt like it really amplified the results that I wanted. I wanted to feel that experience like I was used to feeling with my husband, especially. But just I felt good, and I hadn't felt good for a very long time. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is the holy grail. Like, what can I do to bring this to my oncology team and to other breast cancer survivors and other patients? They deserve to feel this way. Why doesn't anyone know about this? How come no one told me about this before? And so I reached out to her and I said, please connect me with the CEO of this company so that I can be a voice. I want to be a voice to bring this product to the market.
Wow, this is such a beautiful story. I knew some of it, but not all of it. And this warms my heart and makes everything make so much more sense. Now, before we wrap up here, Rebecca, as a breast cancer survivor and someone dedicated to a healthy lifestyle, what advice would you give to those currently receiving treatment and pushing through the recovery process?
I would honestly, from my heart, say don't ever give up and don't ever stop advocating for yourself. This is something that is so important. It may seem like this experience is never ending. And I remember feeling that, how can it be to be on the other side as a survivor? What is that going to be like? No one is there to walk you through it and hold your hand. You've got to be able to be reminding yourself of that every day, that you will get through it. And that's part of it, to have that self-talk that, no matter what, when you feel as low as you can imagine feeling, and then lower than that, just ask for help and just continue to believe that there is an incredible life waiting for you, that this is an experience and it doesn't define you, and you will be better than you ever known yourself to be.
You are a trailblazer. Amen. Dr. Shyrlena, any closing thoughts to women out there who are currently emotionally, mentally, and physically just exhausted with either their cancer treatments or their prognosis or diagnosis? What do you want to say to them?
Well, first, I want to piggyback on what Rebecca said, and never give up. Never give up, and believe that there is another side to it. It's always good to surround yourself with supportive people. If you have a healthcare provider who you don't feel is listening to you, then it's okay to reach out to someone else, because just like I existed for Rebecca, there are so many other physicians out there like me who want to see women live a whole life. Oftentimes in medicine, we have a tendency to make patients their diagnoses, and we forget that there are people, they are mothers, they are daughters, their sisters, their best friends, their lovers. And so you have to find that practitioner who recognizes that you're more than your diagnosis, and who will partner with you in finding solutions that not only help you to reach your goals, but also help you to just feel good about the life that you're living. When Rebecca called me, that is why I am so passionate about this, is because when I see the life that she's living now, so many women give up and accept that this is life for me now. And when a woman does not have a healthy, intact, intimate relationship, it affects every other portion of her life. So the woman who becomes proactive about protecting and enhancing her intimate relationship is just going to be a phenomenal, just unstoppable trailblazer in every area of her life, as you see Rebecca has done. And I will say this, she's not going to say it, but she did join the CO2Lift family. So she is one of their top representatives. I'm really good friends with Lana Kerr, the owner of CO2Lift. And we often talk about just how Rebecca has joined the family and has taken off, and she is one of the top representatives for CO2Lift V.
Wow, look at this. More blessings.
In case you're watching, you're a medical provider and you're in Los Angeles or Orange County, I would love to meet you and share CO2 Lift Pro and CO2 Lift V with you.
Wow, so many surprises on this interview. I love it. Well, we are officially out of time and we have gone way over our time because we were having such a great conversation. I thank you both for coming on. You are a trailblazer in your field, Dr. Shyrlena, and Rebecca, you are just a beacon of hope, light, and a warrior. Thank you so much for being you. You are representing so many women and making us proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
With over 4 million breast cancer survivors in the US, today transparency and informative conversations are so important, like these very ones that we just had. The road to recovery is a very long one, so it's vital to be informed on the proper treatments that can ease your comfort and, more importantly, get you back to living a healthy life. That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, and that was the incredible Rebecca Ewing Fisher, experienced account executive in the aesthetic sales industry based in LA and a remarkable breast cancer survivor. Definitely check her out on the gram at Rebecca Ewing Fisher. And of course, check out the incredible board certified gynecologist, Dr. Shyrlena Bogard, as well at Dr. Shyrlena Bogard. It's Shyrlena Bogard, Bogard. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to CO2Lift.com.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m., and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide streaming platform. You could head directly to our channel at mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember, happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it.